Oh, how's everybody doing out there? Well, welcome to day 7 of Corona Online School. Hopefully, everybody had a good, safe, and refreshing spring break and are ready to come back and finish up this semester. So, today we're going to talk about addition and subtraction of fractions. So, I'm going to break the video up into two parts, one with like denominators and one without like denominators. So, let's jump right in. So there's two models that we're going to be using in this section. We're going to be using the area model with rectangles and the number line model. So I'm going to demonstrate both for you guys. So in this first one, we want to use an area model to add 1 1/5 plus 3/5. So in this case, notice both denominators are exactly the same. So the first thing that we want to do is divide this up into even rectangles. So that means I want 5 chunks. That means I need 4 lines. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And to get 1 1/5 means I'm going to need to shade one hole, so all 5 of these, and then one more of the other rectangle. And so since I want to add, so how many pieces do you need to shade to show 1 1/5? So in this case, 6. So now let's do the same thing for 3/5. So I want to shade 3 of the fifths. So I'm going to use a different color. So in this case, there's 1, 2, 3. So I'm shading 3 pieces to get 3/5. So how many 1/5 pieces do we have all together? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got 9 pieces all together. So as an improper fraction, this would look like 9 over 5. To write it as a mixed number, we've got one whole here, and then 4 out of 5 for the other one. So we'd get 1 4/5. So finally, our answer to this would be 1 4/5 or 9/5, depending on how they wanted the answer to look. All right, very good, good job. All right, so now we want to do the same thing. Use a number line to model, to add 1 5/8 plus 7/8. So in this case, the common denominator is 8. So what we're going to want to do is kind of break this up into some units. So in this case, I've got 0, 1, 2, 3. But since I'm going to be graphing things that are in terms of 8, that means I want to break all these intervals up into little intervals of eighths. So that means I'm going to need 7 tick marks for each one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I want to figure out where 1 5/8 is. So I'm going to start at 1 and then count over 5 tick marks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right there would be 1 5/8. So that's going to be my first jump. And so the nice thing is, and now since I've got these all broken in eighth tick marks, to add 7/8 means I want to just add 7 more tick marks. So in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that means I'm going to land there. So and if you wanted, you could write 1 5/8 plus 7/8 above. So whatever number this is going to be our final answer. So let's count. So we get 2 1/8, 2 2/8, 2 3/8, 2 4/8 is where we ended up landing. But if you notice, the 4/8 we can reduce down to 1/2. So our final answer for this guy, is going to be 2 1/2. All right. Does that make sense for everybody? All right, very good. So now what we want to do is repeat the same process, but this time we're going to use subtraction. So again, still common denominator, so it makes life a little bit easier, but now we're going to subtract. So in this case, we want to subtract 3/5 from 1 1/5. So again, since they have a common denominator of 5, first thing we want to do with the area model is break this up into 5 chunks. So we're going to need 4 lines. And so again, just like before, we want to shade in 1 1/5. So again, we're going to shade all of the first rectangle and then one of the other rectangle. So just like before, we shaded 6 parts. But now, since we're subtracting, instead of adding on, we want to actually take away some. So in this case, what we want to do is take away 3/5. So what we want to do is get rid of that one, and this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to cross out 3 pieces. So what do we have left? We have 1, 2, 3 pieces that are remaining. So in this case, we've got 3/5 left. So 1 1/5 minus 3/5 looks like it's going to be 3/5. All right, is that okay? Good. All right. So again, just like before with the number line, we want to do the same thing. So in this case, we're doing 1 5/8 minus 7/8. So the first thing we want to do is kind of draw out our number line. So in this case, I'm going to spread it out a little bit since I have more room. So I'm going to just go up to 2. And then now I want to again break each of these little intervals up into 8 mark ticks. So I want to use 7 little marks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And so again, first thing we want to do is figure out where 1 5/8 is. So start with 1 and then count over 5 tick marks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's our 1 5/8. But in this case, since we're subtracting 7/8, now this means we want to go backwards. We want to go to the left by 7 tick marks. So again, because everything's in terms of eighths, we can just count by the 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to land here. So whatever this answer is going to be our final answer. So starting from the beginning, we've got 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8. So our final landing point was 6/8. But again, if you notice, 2 goes into both of those, so we can rewrite this as 3/4. So finally, 1 5/8 minus 7/8 is 3/4. So I'm going to have you guys try some of the real world problems, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And after you finish those, come back to the other video and then we'll talk about unlike denominators. So good luck.